Welcome back to the Animation Weekly Recap. It has been ages.
It has. We last week
off. We missed you guys dearly. I do just want to say, if you saw the thumbnail with like the cutest dog in the world in it, that is Hattie Ray. You can follow her on Instagram at Hattie_Ray. That's HADDIE_RAY. Her name's Hattie Ray.
I heard that. Yeah.
Miss Ray.
We started with an ad.
Or Ray. Yeah,
she's looking for followers, and she's a little lonely.
She's trying to get her influencer life started, and it's just been like a slow roll.
She has a pricey lifestyle, and I think she needs some help with it.
She's an expensive
advertising could come in.
Yes, the followers, the fame. She would love it, and it would help us.
Yeah.
But anyways, welcome back from the Middle East.
I was in the Middle East. Yeah, Sharjah, which is right next to Dubai. So everybody's heard of Dubai probably. And it's in the... Hold on.
You got this.
EAU. No.
UAE.
UAE. I always get those three wrong.
Good job. Yeah. Close enough.
How
was it? Give us a quick rundown.
So it was good. We went for an animation convention. I say we because my brother went with me. And that made it nice because we could kind of travel the whole, I don't know, it was an 18-hour trip together. And that made it a little more fun. And so, yeah, lots of picture taking, a lot of handshaking, a lot of signatures, all that kind of stuff.
Didn't get sick.
Did not get sick, which is awesome. Pretty good. I have I'm a fear of like con cough. And that's like...
You're a fist bumper at the cons.
Yeah, I sometimes I do that because I just don't want to wash my hands constantly. But yeah, that's I'm constantly trying to sort of have the hand sanitizer nearby. And
so you had a good time. It sounds like. Thanks for that rundown on your hand sanitizer.
It was really fun. I just say this. It was a convention, so I didn't see anything of anything for about 4 days because I'm just the hotel and the expo and the hotel and the expo. Last day, Monday, I went on a safari, like a desert safari.
Did they pay for that?
That was cool. Yeah, they did.
Oh my gosh.
And there was a big group of us.
Who was that
there was
child on the camel with you?
That was Claire Keene's son.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that reminds me, if you don't already, if you're not a member on our newsletter, now's your time to join.
And that's the Pencilish Animation Studio
yes, newsletter. And you can go to pencilish.com. You can go sign up for the newsletter. You must, because the one coming out on Friday is hilarious. I tagged the post that you posted on you riding a camel. I write them, so I just use the newsletters as like a form of roasting my father. And
people are starting to catch on to that, I think.
Yeah, I think they've got to know it's me writing
it. Investor updates also. There's
important information with a little mixed in of like low profile bullying. And you should go check it out because I did an entire roast on this video of him going and riding a camel because he's riding with, I guess, Claire Keene's son.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this random child? And you are on the back and it is struggling. That camel, like literally, I think I made it like pray for that camel because it literally looks like he's like on it, and then the camel on the back, like back hind legs, like tip back.
It tries to get up.
And you're like, what?
Hey,
I'm not kidding. Me and Dustin actually watched that like loop for loop like 20 times, and then he was showing his dad and everybody at the office.
Anybody that I was the first time he'd seen somebody get on a camel, and it has to be on its knees, basically. And it has to then kind of awkwardly get up. It looks awkward every time, not just because of my weight, honestly. I saw plenty of
But did yours look extra
thin
awkward?
women getting on and off.
Be honest, did it look extra awkward for you?
No, I did. I felt for the thing, but apparently they're very strong and their knees are very strong and blah, blah, blah. And don't worry about it because I did ask. So
did you have to give your weight?
I had to sign a form that said if I killed the camel, I keep it.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Not.
Wait, no, but actually, you know how you can't do certain activities if you weigh over a certain amount? Like, did they ask?
No, they didn't ask me that. No.
Because
I'm not 500 pounds.
Would you have outweighed it?
I don't know. Maybe they were there to make money and they didn't care about the camel, but Or I'm completely street legal for a camel.
It did look like it was struggling. That's all I'm gonna say, and I hope it doesn't have arthritis right now.
So check out our newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter so you can check out the post that embarrasses me. Yeah,
it's so good, guys. I worked hard on this newsletter. I was sitting there and I was like, I love my job. I'm just giggling. And I'm like,
you called me right after that. You're like, you have to hear what I just did.
I just roasted you. Anyways, I guess we should get into our stories.
Let's do it.
I was hoping to come into like big major bombs because it had been 2 weeks. Little slow roller, one major bomb. We'll get there.
The industry's slow right now, even with the stories. So yeah.
Yeah. So
is this
but
article
I do come
one?
with this is article 1. I do come with really, to me, amazing news.
Yeah. Oh, because this
Peacock picks up Ted animated series spinoff, a fully animated series.
Now this is for you because you love Ted?
I did really like Ted.
Oh.
I really think Ted's funny. It's my type of humor.
I thought it was very funny, and I agree. Seth MacFarlane was behind that.
Yes.
And he's hilarious. I wish it wasn't so adult, and I just mean F-bombs constantly.
I don't mind it. It's my favorite word. I'm just kidding. But no, I actually did like it, and I do like that they're not just like trying to make a spin-off with randos. They're actually bringing back the entire cast and writers.
Yeah, I don't know how they afford to do that, because it was a pretty loaded movie, right?
It is. So Seth MacFarlane's still writing it, and he wrote it with Brad Walsh and Paul Corrigan. And they're bringing in Mark Wahlberg, Amanda Seyfried, Jessica Barth, Kyle Mooney, Liz Richmond. I mean, the entire cast is coming into voice themselves. And in this article, there's like a little video of them doing some of the voice acting to announce it.
Yeah.
And it was really good. I'll show you after so we don't just sit here and watch it.
Yeah.
But it's just like a quick like clip to announce that it's happening. But I think it's really exciting, and it's fully 2D. Wait, is it 2D?
Yeah, I would guess it is. Because Seth MacFarlane does 2D stuff.
Well, yeah, shows. But Ted was CG, obviously, because it was in live action.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty positive it says it is in 2D. I can't find it in here exactly, but at least someone's animating something.
Exactly.
A win is a win, and it's coming to Peacock, and I'm very excited about that because I think Ted's so funny. I do. I think it's hilarious.
Can I add a layer to that, which is it's a little spinoff of what you just said. It's not necessarily about Ted. It's about Peacock. I just saw this. Somebody sent me like who is buying. We'll say creating. Sometimes it's buying. Creating the most original content. And that's live action animation.
What did you have to bring into the comments?
A little tangent from what you were just talking about that's unrelated, but related only because you said Peacock. And
okay.
I just read an article or something, and somebody had sent to me, which talked about which streamers are spending the most money now as opposed to, I don't know, we'll say 5-10 years ago. I don't know I can't remember the dates.
On animation or on
live action and animation, just new original content.
Okay.
And that could be acquiring. I don't know if it's always just making original, but
right. Okay.
Whatever. And it was Peacock was number. Sorry, now I'm thinking.
You've got this.
Are they number 2? So Netflix
this is a
had
really good story.
It was a pie. Netflix on the first pie was like, I don't know. It was like, we'll say 48%. It was like almost half. And then every other streamer, right? And they're all smaller. And then you came over to the next one, which was today. And I think Netflix was still number 1, but it was considerably smaller. We're going to say whatever. We'll say it was like 23% or something. And now Peacock had expanded like crazy. And so out of everybody else basically is trimming back, Peacock doubled down. And this is one of the things that they greenlit.
Well, I do feel like Peacock has had originals. I wanted to double check that have been doing really good. I've heard a lot about this Lone Bright River, which has Amanda Seyfried. Poker Face, which has that girl from Orange is the New Black, just renewed for a second season.
What's her name?
I don't know, but I like her. Yeah, something like that.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Death is based off that doctor from Tennessee. You're twisting my chair.
Yeah.
Who went to UT
Knoxville.
No, he went to UT in Memphis for med school.
Okay.
Long story short, he got a doctorate degree, but you have to have 2,500 hours. I know everything about this case.
Right.
2,500 hours of time in the surgery room, and he only booked 100 because he kind of schemed through by doing lab work.
Yes.
So he ended up going in and botching people, literally decapitating, murdered people.
Purpose?
They don't know for sure.
I mean, that wasn't the surgery they were going in for, I assume.
No, a back surgery,
So something would go wrong and they just cut their head off?
No, he did a neck surgery,
Uh-huh.
and ended up detaching their spine.
Oh my gosh. So he killed a bunch of people either on purpose or
27.
by accident?
Well, it went to go explain a lot about the medical industry, because pretty much medical industry, you have to fire somebody and you can fire somebody and then they could go get a different job. Or to actually get their license revoked, you have to sue them, spend millions of dollars, take them to court, all this stuff. So people would just end up letting him go, and he would go to a different place, and they would recommend him.
Right, when they call for recommendations, they go, yeah, he's the best.
Yeah, they just want him off. They don't want to have to deal with the price and the cost to do it all.
So
they
horrible.
just recommend him, and he, I think, killed 27 people maybe, or at least really messed people up. A lot of people are in wheelchairs.
And I remember you saying this was a podcast originally.
Yeah, I know all from the podcast. I actually want to go watch the show now that we talk about it.
I'm sure you did.
But good for Peacock. I'm glad that somebody's investing.
Is anybody watching Peacock?
I go to
the
Peacock
lamest of the
weekly
streamers.
because my reality TV show comes out every Thursday. Summer House, obviously. Teen Page, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't. I'm so glad I don't.
And also Team Lexi. But anyways, they post every Thursday. So I go for that.
That's a dating thing, right?
No, it's they all just go somewhere in the Hamptons every weekend.
Oh, but they kind of hook up, right?
Yeah, and tea goes down.
Tea.
Anything for the tea. Usually by the weekend, I'm feeling a bit bored. I've already shot the Animation Weekly recap, which had some tea. Usually. Mm-hmm. But by Thursday, Friday, I'm where's the tea? Where's the tea? Where's the tea?
Need more tea.
I'm fiending.
Yeah, right.
I'm fiending for my need. And I just pop on
New
Summer
word
House.
for me. Wow.
What?
Fiending.
I am.
Yeah. That's pining.
No, fiending is when you fiend for drugs. Because you're addicted.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm fiending.
That's worse. Okay.
I'm fiending for reality TV.
Article 2.
Wait, so congrats to Ted 2. Very excited about
Animated,
that.
Yes. I mean,
very excited about that.
That's got to be the world's most expensive show. I don't know how they do that, but
yeah.
So another show they won't get their money back on, but go for it.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, it'd have to be a huge hit. But
I could see it being one. It's Ted.
Seth, it's Seth too.
And Seth always puts out something that does 27
job.
seasons.
Yeah.
Not really, but a lot. Anyways, Article 2.
Article 2.
Anime is now a national security threat, according to Trump.
Oh, I've always wondered this. Okay, keep going.
Are you acting surprised? You probably know about this, right?
I don't know about the anime angle. I've heard just sending.
I don't really know.
Overseas.
That's what they Cartoon Brew made.
Yeah.
The thing, but it actually the post from him
you
doesn't
think you like,
say anime.
You like tea. Amid here over at Cartoon Brew loves the tea. He likes creating the tea.
Yeah, this is kind of stretching things because his post doesn't state anything about anime in specific. Anyways.
No. This is about the tax stuff. What we're calling the Hollywood tax.
I'll get there.
And it's not specifically about anime.
No. Anime could become a lot more expensive to view in the United States if President Donald Trump's latest fuzzy, unformed thought becomes a reality. I wonder which side they're on.
I know. Yeah,
really in a social media post on Truth Social yesterday evening, Trump announced a 100% tariff on any film produced in a foreign land. He wrote, this is quote Donald Trump, "The movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering... I know. He has good points, bad points.
Yes.
Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. True.
Also true.
Hollywood and many other areas within the U.S. are being devastated. True. This is a concerted effort by our other nations and therefore a national security threat."
Very questionable at this point.
Maybe a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, right.
It is in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda.
No. No, it's just cost savings.
King of Kings wasn't.
Strictly,
well, I mean, it was good propaganda, I guess.
Yeah.
Therefore, I am authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again. True.
That's all caps.
Same.
We want movies made in America again.
That part I agree with.
Right. So good start, good ending. Got a little fuzz. That's the fuzzy part, maybe. Well, he said the plan is fuzzy, is what Amit said, and he's right. What he then said was it was going to be like 100% tariff on.
Could you explain, because I'm a bit confused on what a tariff is.
Well, and I don't want to go too deep. It must have more in here, right? But
it kind of just breaks down concerns.
Basically, they're taxes that are put onto any product that's coming. Well, I think it could be in or out of the United States. But it's generally coming in. So as they ship over, we'll just say anime. I don't know. This is less tangible, so it's harder. But okay, we'll say China makes a washing machine, and they put a whole bunch of them on a boat, and they send them over to the U.S. to sell. Somebody here has already made a deal with them and all that. When they get into the port, there's a tariff that is charged to say you now are welcoming in this product into our shores and want to sell it, and we're going to take some money from you to do that, basically. We're going to...
Okay, I understand.
So it's not like just pure profit over to you.
It's like taxing, but more.
So, the part that a lot of people forget is that we have been paying out tariffs whenever we send U.S. product elsewhere, all across the world. Every single one of them charges us pretty high-end tariffs.
Right.
25%,
just not on animation?
I don't know. No. Yeah. Film and animation have been the one that probably is the least charged. I don't know.
Tariffed.
But we tend to then, in a lot of cases, not charge tariffs or very low tariffs, even though we're paying even higher tariffs to, say, China and elsewhere. And so that's also a truth to this that I think he's trying to correct, is he's going, why have we been kind of bending over backwards for everybody else?
When they just keep us expensive.
And some of this is going a little over my, research, but I do know that that's supposed to be a truth too, is that a lot of people aren't talking about is that we already play this game, but we don't benefit America more times than not, because we either have very low tariffs that we're charging or almost none. And so now he's gone to the extreme, which is
animation.
How Trump does it.
So I think he makes amazing points. Part of me thinks, is he an Animation Weekly recap watcher? Because
he probably is.
He probably is.
Can I cut in with a story? With his free time? Can I tangent with a story since you just said that?
Okay.
I was in Sharjah. Are you all listening? This is an amazing story. I was in Sharjah, and someone came up to me that was also a guest of the convention. There was about 30 or almost to 80 guests that were a part of this convention. But one of them was from Toon Boom Harmony. And he was from the sort of the Middle East, I'll just say Middle East area where he was selling Toon Boom. The sales kind of rep, right?
Yes,
okay.
Come on.
Anyway, very nice guy. He's originally from Canada. He comes up to me and he tells me, he's like, well, you know what? Your daughter was right about, I don't know if I agree with everything and how she went about it, but she was like, she had some really good points, is what he said, about our new product, because it was back to...
I didn't know that he would be listening.
I know. Yes. I didn't either. I think...
Were you in an awkward... Were you like...
Now, he didn't go on, and I just kind of caught on. I'm like, my daughter, you're talking about the Animation Weekly recap where we talked about Toon Boom Harmony having AI now in it. Ember, I think is what they call it. And so he just came up, I guess, expecting me to kind of know what he was talking about. But so he had definitely watched that.
That's so crazy.
He even said, we thought she had some really good points. I think they emailed it around to Boom Harmony, not just where he is, but
I just say whatever's on my mind.
And because somebody saw it, probably got his attention, right? I'm just saying, I think a few people watched it.
We're just like on the big screen in a big meeting.
Right. And I had said that Pam Darley, our producer, had actually requested the beta copy so she could start using it and trying it out, wanted to experiment with it. And I think Pam is kind of a rock star over at Toon Boom Harmony now for doing that. But we talked a lot about that in that episode too. So I was saying how they loved that I said, I liked how they were handling, how they inputted AI. If I remember right, as with everything AI, you were probably a little more on the negative side.
If I could guess, I tend to go negative.
Yes. And so, but they said you had good points, is what he said. It was a very intro into this conversation. So I think he meant it,
Wow, that's so cool, though, that there's people in Sharjah.
It was the shot that went around the world.
So famous. Anyways, that's really cool. So thanks for watching.
So it makes sense that Trump is also watching.
Right. Yeah. That does make sense. I know with all of his free time, I'm sure he's like, oh my gosh, wait, it's Friday. Get the Animation Weekly recap on. Yeah. Anyways, this is stuff that we've been saying for a long time. Animation's leaving here and it's going everywhere else. All the news is literally that it's only being made anywhere but in the US. So that I agree with. And yeah, we need to get movies made back in America again. My thought is, I think it's a bit of an issue. I think it's a big issue because I think if you're going to do that and you're going to force people to make animation in America, we need incentives. We need tax incentives. Like, I think even the larger studios, they might be going to the other countries, like they listed a lot of movies like Moana 2 and Despicable Me 4, Lord of the Rings, all that stuff that was produced out of country for tax incentives. And elsewhere, which they're probably just doing it to make it cheaper. But people like us, we seriously work on an insanely tight budget where the incentives there and also just the cost for people to work in different countries is a lot cheaper than how much it costs hourly to pay somebody here, that it's going to kill us. We can't do our work. Like, it's not like, oh, well, suddenly we'll come up with $30,000 to $50,000 more dollars to make it in the US. No, like we don't have $30,000 to $50,000 more dollars to drop. So for me, it's like, I totally agree, but then put the incentives here.
100% agree with that. And since then, they've kind of pulled back on it and kind of made it a little clearer. Like, well, we would probably have incentives for investors in the U.S., so giving them a huge tax relief probably if they, say, invested in
that could be good for Dakota Ring.
I know. And but also giving better tax incentives state to state, because all of ours, here's the problem, and just in case you guys care, every other country does tax incentives for the country primarily. Like Canada has an incentive that comes
Ireland's is like 40%.
Right. And Ireland, and then Canary Islands, they're the highest. I think they're at 53%. It's amazing. And so we can't compete with that because we're also going state to state. And so every state has a slightly different tax incentive percentage.
What's ours in Tennessee? I think it's like 10.
They say it's 40, but I think that has to be like...
I thought it was like 10.
Music here. No, it's not 10. It's more than that. I think it ends up being around 35, but they say it goes up to 40, and I think that's music and stuff too. You have to do the music here. But, that's fine. So... But like California's been historically low because they're like, we're California. You're going to come here and film anyway. We got all the people.
Not anymore.
I know. And so they were like, I don't know, 25% or something, but they're one of the lower in the whole U.S. I think we need a federal one that's, say, around 25%, and then the states can add on top of that. So we could actually get up to where, if they did a 25 across the U.S. from federal, but then the states all did around 20, 25, 30. Now we're competing with the rest of the world.
So how is this going to affect Light of the World?
Well, yeah. So like that was we had a studio in Ireland for that. So if this thing was happening, I think they're gonna grandfather in the films.
You can't do that right?
Like the irony that this story may mention or not. There's like 3 movie czars or Hollywood czars that Trump picked, right, when he first became elected to kind of like clean up Hollywood and fix things, just like he's got the DOGE thing, Doge. Anyway, they were doing it. Yeah, they're doing it for Hollywood, and it's Mel Gibson and I forgot the other two, but it's two others about that generation. And so anyway, Mel Gibson, ironically, when he made this announcement, was literally off filming in Italy with his, I was going to say Prince of Egypt. It's not. It's the Jesus Christ movie. It's a sequel. Why can't it? Passion of the Christ.
They're making a sequel?
Yeah, Passion of Christ 2. He's filming it right now in Italy.
I did not know that.
So he makes this announcement, and his whole movies are. One of them is out there doing it right now.
Yeah, doesn't
he would
that,
be
like,
affected.
What if you're making a movie that's like I don't know if anybody knows this movie. It's Monte Cristo, I think is what it's called, with Selena Gomez.
The Count of Monte Cristo?
No, it's like a girl's movie.
Is it about the sandwich?
Monte Carlo.
That makes a whole lot more sense. Monte Carlo. That's a place. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's called Monte Carlo. It was a classic.
Classic 90s or something?
No, 2011.
Okay.
It was great. Anyways,
Oh, Selena.
So they shot this, I think, in Monte Carlo.
Right.
What do you do then? What if your movie's based in that location?
Well, and that's what Mel would say too. Is like, I had to go to Italy, to Rome. Like, this is where the Bible was happening.
Right.
And he'd have a really good argument for that, for sure. So, like, yeah, there are certain movies you go there because that's where that movie took place, if it's historical or whatever. And
so what are they going to do then?
Or any of the James Bond and Mission Impossibles are all about going around the world, right? You know, it's always exotic. So, yeah, no, we have to have ways that we can still do it.
I think that the logistics just weren't thought through. This was just
I'd rather see not necessarily do away with those, or maybe, there's some tariff potentially, but don't destroy that system. Definitely add to our system that is broken.
Yeah, I think that's what needs to happen. Just match the tariffs, or the tax incentives. Like, give us tax incentives, just like the other countries, and then we wouldn't need to.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we still make more, and I still think it would be near impossible to film in California because everybody that
gosh, yeah. Their minimum wage is crazy.
The tax incentives would have to be more like 75% to be equitable to anywhere else in the world.
Right.
Just because everybody gets paid so much because they have to live in California.
Well, you know what they say. We're on the verge of a financial collapse.
Don't start that rumor. I don't want that.
It's not a rumor.
Recession?
Yeah, biggest sign of a recession is people don't want to work. Think about it. People don't want to work.
That's the biggest sign of the recession?
It's the biggest sign of the start of a recession.
People don't want to work. So just laziness?
People aren't working.
Well, that's unemployment.
No,
is that what
people
you're
don't want to work is what I've heard.
Oh, the don't want to work part of it is part of a...
That's what I've heard.
I've never heard that as part of a recession. But not being able to work.
Recession?
You don't have to look it up. This is going to be
I've heard this
longest
on a podcast.
Episode.
Economic downturns can lead to the job insecurity, reduced work hours, or even layoffs, which can impact morale and motivation.
Yeah, okay. So that's not talking about not wanting to work. It's much more referring to...
I don't want to work.
Not having a job and
There's
unemployment.
a recession. I don't want to work.
Can we get back to this, speaking of work?
Anyways.
Article 3.
Article 3. I would really prefer not to do your article, but we can if you want. My article's not amazing.
2 choices here?
Sure.
Okay, let's hear them.
Okay, one's a movie that's coming out the month of yours.
So we're just going to say an announcement of that movie? And
yes.
That's the whole talking point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or one's an article that you never read but sent me that's an actual snooze fest, and I read a little bit of it, but I couldn't even get through it.
All right, let's just compromise and just say what the articles are about so we get the news out.
So we'll do a quick 3A and 3B.
Yeah.
So 3A, trailer, Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie purrs to theaters in September.
No!
Actually, though, that's kind of like bad competition for you. Everybody loves Gabby's Dollhouse.
I know, I'm serious. This is the first I've heard, but we have animated competition.
Come September 26th. When is yours?
Oh, good. We're before that. Hopefully, I hope not, but we'll probably be out of the theater by then. We're September 5th.
Why would you be out in 20 days?
It literally, it's the cycle these days is like you're lucky if it's in there for 3 weeks. Yeah.
It's crazy. It used to be months.
I know. It's now
it's
weeks. The cycle is so fast nowadays.
Well, very exciting.
But
so hopefully you are out.
Yeah.
And hopefully you've got some crazy box office numbers that we've been reporting.
Right, which means it's still in some theaters. Gabby could take the big theater. We'll have the smaller theaters at the multiplex. You know what I mean? Because we're still going in.
Yeah,
week
keep
5.
your standards high. The smaller theater. No, great idea.
But that's what happens naturally. The new release gets the big theater.
Right.
The ones that have been out for 5 weeks that are still making money.
Yeah, and hopefully it's still a thing for kids to just have a movie day where they buy tickets and then they sneak into another theater and see a movie.
We don't make money that way. That's not a good idea.
Right. Hopefully it's not.
That.
Hopefully it's a thing for them to go buy a ticket,
sneak into the Light of the
Gabby's Dollhouse. Well, no. They buy a ticket.
Uh-huh.
They see Light of the World. Sneak into Gabby's Dollhouse.
Yeah, then I don't care.
And then we can be sitting here reporting box offices of Light of the World on week 4, still doing better than Gabby Dollhouse.
Yeah. Yet everybody says they've seen Gabby's Dollhouse. We don't know how. They're sneaking it. I don't know.
Statistics show 100% of the people that have seen Gabby's Dollhouse have not paid. Poor
Gabby.
Sorry, Gabby.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for babies. Our film is definitely not for babies.
It's like a teenage girl.
People die.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Gee.
One specifically.
I know.
Don't want to give it away.
I don't know who it could be.
Okay, next.
Okay, here's
3B.
So we
didn't talk about that too much. Okay.
Here's 3B.
3B.
It's very long. Decoding the opportunity for selling content to AI firms.
What? So to explain that.
A new market opportunity is opening up as AI companies seek kids' content for training data. But rights holders will need to decide if the short-term gains outweigh the long-term unknowns.
Yeah, there's I'm sure a lot of long-term unknowns.
This is a long discussion.
I just want to... No, it is, and we're not going to dig into it too deeply. It's just interesting. So basically what they're saying is, and it's not just images, it's video, basically. So if you say owned... Well, Gabby's Dollhouse. You owned it, and you said, okay, for season 1, I'm going to give that over to an AI so that they can basically use the movements, things like that, whatever they need. But now they're going to pay me a certain amount of money for just that license, I guess, to feed it into their AI. So
nice.
What kind of money are we talking about, though?
They don't give any details.
Oh, okay.
It says that while Davis declined to share specific pricing. And then it states the pricing, but this isn't for AI.
Oh.
Adobe was paying around $3 a minute for video content, which falls in line with average industry rates.
Oh, yeah.
Live action costs 1 to 2 minutes per usable minute, $1 to $2, while animation typically ranges 2 to 3 per minute. So I will say they did say this.
We could say probably $2 to $3 per minute is what they're.
Yes.
Ish.
Okay, so I will say this. He sees red flags. End quote. Our content features kids. We feel like we need to do right by the people who were in our shows. He explains something you will probably hear me talk about a lot is name, images, and likeness rights, which the AI companies are not interested in. But at the end of the day, these are our actors. These are our kids. These are our individuals who are on our shows. And so as a custodian of that, it is incredibly important for us to make sure that if our content is ever used, it's done in an ethical way. While these concerns, I don't get how they could be able to make sure that happened.
It would be on the side of the person selling it, saying, "I need these assurances, basically this paperwork."
Yeah.
Done.
Well, he said, "I want to know where those."
People, they don't care at all. They're like, "No, just give it to me." By the way, so what he's referring to are kids shows that are live action, kind of like a Barney or something like that, and all those kid actors that are in there. Then the likenesses can be now taken, and basically that's really unfair to those kids. I mean, if I was a parent of a kid that acted. I would be like, no way, you can't just sell off Barney when my little girl's in almost all of those episodes, right? You'd want to have
It's going to start affecting even like Selena Gomez. She was a kid.
And in fairness, do those people get a slice of what they're selling too, right? Because that's my kid that is the face that's now going to be on the next cereal box because they used AI and they just took her face. I don't know.
Said, I want to know where those models are going. Are they open source? Are they closed source? What safety rails are in place? Without those assurances, I don't know what our material is being trained for. Maybe we're control freaks, but we want to know. We want to ensure that we don't have any regrets about a decision.
Sorry, I sneezed.
Oh my gosh, your sneezes actually sound like crazy.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I muted. Yeah.
Not soon enough. Just to get a paycheck. Said after all, the decision is bigger than a single payday because there is no going back once that check gets cashed.
No.
The way I look at it, okay, so then it just keeps going. But I just feel like...
So that's him talking about the issues,
what is it referring
to
training, though? It keeps referring to using it for training.
Training the AI. That's what they do, is them feeding in images and video and all that is training the AI because they'll label each one as like, here's a girl, a little kid girl, age this, and... Then when you do that sort of prompt where I want to do a character design of a little girl that's about 6, that one's maybe labeled little girl age 6. It'll get thrown into whatever, you know what I mean, pie that comes out.
I've actually been getting very scared of AI and how much it like destroys the world and our power.
Well, this I think is one of the things. Now they're paying for it, which is making them more ethical.
I'm talking more about power wise.
Oh, the ability that it has, the AI.
Yeah. I mean, AI literally you burn, like you go to ChatGPT, you use it once, burns like, what do they say, 2 batteries? We've already gone over this, but it scares me.
Right.
People are doing this large AI. Imagine if like AI is already becoming so easy to use for like the everyday life.
Yeah.
It's only going to get easier. And I just feel like we're just going to burn out all of our power.
Yeah, I mean, they had that problem with the NFTs too, remember? That they were
but the NFTs were minuscule compared to this.
I don't know. They said crazy things then too. It's hard to say what is the truth, how much power gets used for that and this. But
I'd imagine a lot more. But
here's the thing, just for discussion's sake, we're generative AI is what we're specifically talking about now, where you put in a prompt, you get an image or a video. That's generative AI. It's generating images and things off of suggestions you give, but pulling in all the art and things that it's been, right, that's fed, that has been trained into their model, right? What you use a lot is ChatGPT. You admit it all the time. Yeah.
What?
And it's been doing the same thing, but with words and books and scripts and things like that.
So how is that using power?
Well, no. I mean, I'm a little bit off the power side of the argument. I'm just talking about you're okay with that.
Ending, okay?
Okay.
I'm worried about that.
Okay. I don't know about the whole power side of it. I mean, and I don't know if anybody really does. That's why you don't hear a lot of discussion about that. But obviously, it does take a lot of power. There's more servers that are needed and stuff like that for sure with all the AI usage going on out there. Computing power, things like that.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really great article. If you're interested in research, I would consider it that. It's very long, lengthy, detail-oriented type of article. There's a reason neither of us have read it.
Yeah.
We're not very research-friendly.
No. We hardly read the article. We're basically just commenting on the titles of the articles. And the first paragraph, maybe.
Literally. We look up one date.
That's not 100% true. Yeah. I have a lot of knowledge in here.
Me too.
From experience.
Me too. My knowledge is just from like living, living on the edge, like worldly.
But this is to our audience too. I feel like we're learning new things every week, aren't we? Just just, skimming these articles.
I will
and things
say
like that, being up to date
sound a lot more smart in conversation because of this show.
Do you?
I actually last night I was at dinner.
Right. Was I there? Yeah, I think I was there. Oh, no. This okay.
You were not at dinner with me.
Well, you were pressing me. You knew some software names. You knew Harmony. Remember? You were
that was
talking
a
about
meeting.
That?
You weren't at. You thought you were at dinner with me last night?
No.
Okay. It was brought up about the tariffs, and I was like, well, I was just bloom, 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 and they were all like, well, good. They need to make animation in the U.S. I was like, yeah, but you got to consider we have no tax incentives. I'm like, what does an indie studio like Pencilish do?
Good.
And they were just like, gasp, are you a genius?
They were like, things we haven't thought of, right?
And I was like, yeah, it's important to consider every side of the story. Like, oh my gosh.
I love that.
Ansley, run for president. You're so politically smart. I said, thank you. I think I might.
Don't have her run for president, guys. Don't vote for her.
Anyways.
We'd be in trouble.
Yeah, no, I don't.
You think the bombs are going to be going off with Trump? Wait till this one.
I do love a bomb. Anyways, let's read a comment.
Oh, we got a comment.
Let's see if we...
Comments.
Oh, wait, where did they go?
Oh.
Wait.
Feels like it should have been ready to go.
Sorry, I was doing the articles. Can't do it all.
That video's got 199 views.
Oh, wow, we had comments.
Oh, there's lots. Because we're reading them now. People want to have their name shouted out. Really confusing, hard to read names. So this was the last episode. Don't remember what we talked about because it was 2 weeks ago.
We have the worst memory. That's why I'm trying to recap.
We'll figure it out when they say their comment, probably. Just go ahead and, since we're waiting, it's live.
Okay, well, I just want to say somebody called Khinya2254 said, this is actually incredible. I don't know exactly what they're referring to, but I'd like to think it's us.
I think they were talking about the show in general.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is an incredible show.
Well, I'm saying, I don't know if they're referring to, an article we were talking about, but I'd like to think it's just no, this show is actually
No, if they're going to be that vague, we're going to apply it to everything. So thank you. We're incredible.
2 weeks until, this is Brian Diskin. 2 weeks until another podcast episode. If you shook hands with AI, it could do episodes while you're gone. That was funny.
Did you say shook hands with?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Have a safe trip. So long farewell. Something in, I think, German.
Auf Wiedersehen or something like that. Yeah, it's like German.
Dubai. Yeah. Well, we're back, Brian.
We're back. And Tony just got back because he went on to Nepal after that trip for another week after that because he was already halfway there, more than halfway. And so he just got back last night. So he's been gone for 2 weeks. His daughter's in Nepal, and she just had a baby. So he was visiting.
Phenol Kingdom said you could rename the podcast Bancroft Bickering.
Why Bancroft?
I don't know the Bancroft part, but I like the bickering.
I wonder if that was a misspell.
Probably. Oh, wait, here's the A and here's the O on a keyboard, so probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe we're missing something.
James
Bond?
That's what I was thinking, but Bancroft.
The Bancroft family in
That's not
The Sound of Music?
No, that's not their names.
Anyways, at this point, guys, I'm so sorry. No one's watching right now.
Oh, yeah. Hey, this has been awesome. Thanks for the comments. Please keep leaving comments so that we can pull up some really interesting ones. Be more specific, potentially. Or explain your jokes really clearly.
Let us know how cute you think my dog is. And we are back on the regular scheduled programming. So, see you next week.
Thanks, Toon Boom Harmony.
Yeah. We love AI. Bye.
If you like what you just saw, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, Pencilish Studios.